Hey, this is Evan Woodbery with the Knoxville News Sentinel and Go Vols Extra. Tennessee just wrapped up its third practice of the spring. Like the last one, it was indoors, but the difference today was they were in full pads. They were doing some hitting. Butch Jones said it was real football for the first time. And we did notice a different attitude. There was a lot of excitement early on. They got in a big circle in the center of the field. They were doing some one-on-one drills, a lot of shouting and pushing, and just general different feel once they're in full pads and they're doing some hitting. And Butch Jones kind of gave a pre-practice pep talk along those lines. Afterwards, we talked to the assistant coaches for the first time since spring started. Got some interesting notes. Talked a lot to Asani, the wide receivers coach, and he's probably working with the youngest group on the roster by far, least experience. He says it's been about as he expected. There's a long way to go, but he likes the fact that he's able to kind of start from scratch and mold some of these younger players. But he said they're coming in as below average route runners at best, just because so few of those guys have actually played. So it's really starting from scratch.
Would you say starting level was about average route running and you're trying to get them better, or where would you put it at?
I would put their route running as well below average. There was no foundation there because they're all young. They didn't play, so they had no idea what they were doing. I mean, let's be honest, Cody White was a safety in high school. He's never played the position. Dever Young, we moved. He's never played the position. Paul Harrison, true freshman, has never been coached to play receiver at this level. So there's a lot of raw guys out there that couldn't run a route day one, and we're teaching them how to run routes.
I think Trey Vols on day practice number 2, he ran a route, it was the wrong one, but still made a catch, and I think you still jumped on him. So, I mean, running the right routes and getting the calls in is something that every day y'all are going to be focused on.
Yeah, we're not real complicated on offense. It's our style of play that makes us different. So they got to be able to be comfortable, be uncomfortable. That's kind of our whole deal.
Steve Stripling, the defensive line coach, we talked quite a bit about the veteran leadership, how pleased he was with that. Some of the seniors really taking ownership, he thought. Daniel McCullers, one of those seniors, he said is going to be at the 3 technique, which some people thought a little bit odd, but he says that's going to be generally the middle of the line. That's the best spot for him. The question is now, can he be an every down type player? And Stripling said McCullers has been fantastic as far as conditioning and trying to get to that point because he's not there yet.
You ever coach the guy that big?
No, that's the biggest man. Every time I see him, every day, I tell myself, wow, he's big.
The other interesting note, just from talking to Don Mahoney, the offensive line coach, obviously the offensive line is probably one of the most set positions on the team right now as far as what the expected starters are for 2013. But he said he thinks about 2014 every day, looking at some of the younger players, and he said this is a huge opportunity for those guys who are on the second team right now to show him something so they go into 2014 with the head start on getting those jobs when it's going to be an almost complete turnover on the offensive line.
I get excited, and I brought Crowder, Curbison, and Posey, and I said, and Perrin and Marcus Jackson, I said, what discussion are we going to have a year from now? Right up my office. What discussion are we going to have a year from now? Where are we going to be in a year from now? I said, because sometimes, like again, those 5 guys that start, the other second group, they kind of think, maybe it's so far away. No, it's next year. It's your question is a great question, and it's now. It's now. So the urgency. That's why incoming freshmen say, I'm going to redshirt. No, don't think that way, because when you think you're going to redshirt, then you think 2 years down the road, and your urgency isn't as great. It's right now.
So we'll have tons of more interviews and news and notes from today's practice. We actually got quite a bit of news just from talking to all the assistants, and we'll have all that on Go Vols Extra and continuing coverage throughout the next several weeks of spring football.